With the Google Pixel 7 only a few weeks away from making its official debut, a lot of Pixel fans are no doubt waiting to see what Google has to offer with its latest flagship phone. With that said, you might be after a more affordable Pixel device without having to settle for a much older smartphone, in which case you might be tempted by the price tag on the Pixel 6a. We're going to take a look at both devices and see what you should go with. Let's get started. At first glance, both devices will look very similar in terms of design, albeit with a few key differences. Both the Pixel 6a and the 7 will come with a familiar look that was first seen in the Pixel 6 series last year, with the metallic sides, glossy finish, and a large camera window at the back. In the case of the Pixel 6a, however, Google has opted for a glossy plastic finish instead of a Gorilla Glass panel at the back, with a smaller camera window that's a bit more flush with the rest of the phone. On the front, you'll find a 6.1-inch OLED display with Gorilla Glass 3, which is smaller compared to what you'll find on a lot of Android phones these days. Overall, it makes for a compact device that's easy to handle, something that's sorely missed in a way these days. Now on the other hand, the Pixel 7 just screams premium all over, from the more vibrant looking metal sides to the full Gorilla Glass coverage all over the phone, as well as a redesigned camera window that features more coverage for the lens. It's also got a slightly larger display that's expected to come with a 90Hz refresh rate, same as on last year's Pixel 6. If you'd rather go all out for a more premium feel, and if a compact size isn't really something you need, then there's no doubt that the Pixel 7 will be the device to go with. In terms of performance, the two phones have significant differences. For one, the Pixel 6a comes with last year's Google Tensor chip, which was first introduced with the Pixel 6 series. Given the budget nature of the phone, it's understandable that Google has kept the RAM count to a somewhat humble 6GB. That's not to say that it's slow, however. I was able to run games like XCOM 2 Collection on the Pixel 6a, and while the phone did experience heating during gameplay, it was nevertheless able to run the title without any freezes. Casual users, who are the main target audience for this phone, will get smooth performance, especially if they stick to moderate tasks like media streaming, web browsing, and such. With that said though, the Pixel 7 will come with the second generation Tensor chip, which will no doubt offer improvements with performance, battery efficiency, and overall power. And given that the Pixel 7 sits on the more premium side of things, it's not surprising if we get 8GB of RAM at the very least, which will be more ideal for multitasking and running demanding games. Since the phone hasn't been released yet, there are of course no benchmarks at the moment, but we think it can be easily said that the second gen Tensor chip will have an edge over last year's Google exclusive SoCs. Moving on, in terms of battery capacity, the Pixel 7 will no doubt have an advantage over its budget sibling, which only comes with a 4410 mAh battery. Given that the Pixel 6 came with a 4600 mAh unit, we can expect this year's flagship model to feature a similarly sized battery capacity, or possibly even a larger one, which will outpower the Pixel 6a. Alright, so moving on, one of the highlights of owning a Pixel device is that Google optimizes the hardware and software in their Pixels to give users the best possible photo quality from their smartphone. While the Pixel 7 and 6a will share several similarities when it comes to cameras, it should be noted that there are a few caveats that should be taken into consideration, especially in the case of the 6a. Both phones will come with dual camera setups on the rear panel, as Google does reserve its third lens for the Pro models. However, the Pixel 6a only features a pair of 12-megapixel sensors, a standard which it has used for its older handsets. At this point in time, it pales in comparison to what was available on last year's Pixel 6, which came with a 50-megapixel main sensor. Now, that's not to say that the Pixel 6a takes terrible looking pictures. Shots still come out looking clean on the phone, however, it unfortunately loses out on certain camera modes, and features like Action Pan are absent on the more affordable Google phone. If the Pixel 7 is anything like the 6 in terms of optics, which we imagine it will be, then folks looking for a more capable point-and-shoot camera might opt for the Pixel 7, as it will most likely come with less restrictions in terms of camera performance. Perhaps one area where the 6a trumps the 7 is with pricing. While we still do not know the official cost of the Pixel 7, it's safe to say that it might be around the same $600 ballpark that the Pixel 6 came with. While this price is a lot more affordable than most flagship smartphones, it isn't exactly in mid-range territory. On the other hand, the Pixel 6a is priced at just $450, making it the more wallet-friendly option between the two phones. You can probably get for even less through your carrier or with holiday sales. At the end of the day though, getting a smartphone will ultimately depend on your budget, personal needs, as well as your usage. We're all entitled to choose what's best for us, and this of course is the biggest factor when deciding if you want to choose the Pixel 6a or the Pixel 7. Alright, so what do you guys think? Are the compromises in specs and power worth it for the cheaper Pixel, or will you be waiting for this year's Google flagship? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe here on Phandroid, and we'll see you guys in the next one.